name is Jason Palamarchuk. I'm a field engineer here at Juno Creek Bridge and work for Traylor Bros. Allows us to generate these. We currently have gotten all of the structural steel done, and we are currently working on the launching aspect. So that includes the nose, the king post, and all of the steel needed to make sure that the bridge makes it across the canyon. For this project, we actually used a crane planner from Liebherr for the first time. So this was one of the plans, seeing the clearance here with the girders to the actual crane itself. You know, when you say something like, let's just raise the grade by 10 feet, many people are like, what's that gonna do? Well, we proved it. We pulled this out and showed them, and it was a huge, huge difference. The boom was actually hitting that girder at the current elevation that it's at right now. So the fact that we're able to see that difference with the models helped us really gauge, are we gonna be able to do this? We've already had to change our plans 5 times because we'll have some ideas out in the field and then we'll come back, put it in crane planner and realize, oh, the capacity flashes red at you. That's no good. We were initially planning to, when we took all 5 of these pieces down, we were planning on laying it on this road right here. And we figured out like, hey, you know, there's gonna be a bridge here and helped us realize I can't really do that. We also determined that, hey, we're definitely gonna need crane mats here. Our pressures are exceeding what is in the spec. You're able to put topography in here, which is what we did. We added in the mats underneath the crane and have the road that comes down to it. One of the picks that we actually made was with this outside girder here. The straddle cranes were not able to get out there, so we had to actually go out there and measure everything and check it. So if we would have had that model, we would have been able to confirm a couple things. Instead of spending, 3 days working on it, we could have had it knocked out in 3 hours. Would have been a big time saver had we known about it. It really gauged us a good way to see what's going on out there. Look outside the window and seeing this exact scenario right here that I have pulled up on my computer is just a really fascinating thing.
In Crane Planner, you can configure your own machine.
If you go into My Machines, you're able to find all the ones you have purchased, and you can configure it with what you're going to be using it for. We actually do have a fixed jib, so we would hit our next configuration, which is with a fixed jib. And currently we have 203-foot booms on the cranes. So that's what we'd select. We would go to the next one. You can get your jib length. And since this is a fixed jib, you can pick your 30-degree or 15-degree offset. So if we wanted to put in 2 different segments to get to 75 feet at 30 degrees, we can choose that one. And then you can pick your counterweight, your car body weight. We have it as high as possible, so we would choose the 273,000 pounds. You can change your units here too, so it is metric. You can have meters and kilograms. You can choose how many reeves you have. You can choose whether you're pulling from the main boom or the jib. In this case, we are going to be pulling from the jib, and we do have the wide track setup. So the next page that you get is a review. Hey, is all this information good? So you would add your machine in, and it builds your machine. So it builds your setup, so that way you can just use it in the model and then just place it wherever you want it to be.
In Crane Planner,
You have an export feature that lets you export the model of the cranes, whatever your jib height is, your boom height, your boom length, and it allows us to collaborate it with all the other software, whether it's Revit, AutoCAD, anything like that. The cool thing about Crane Planner is when we just talk about it, hey, do you think the crane's gonna have the capacity for this? Oh, it takes 5 seconds to readjust the boom, readjust the jib, if there is one, the angle, and we can get answers in seconds.
you can place your model wherever you want, so I am going to put it
at the edge of the embankment here because we want to check reach, right? So we're going to set it on the ground. Obviously, we'll be a lot more precise with this whenever we're using our topography, but let's ask the question, are we going to be able to reach the end of the bridge from where we are at now? And let's say at the end of the rigging, we have Let's say we have a 5,000 pound compressor. So I was gonna say it's 5,000 pounds. So we want to set it at the end of the bridge to help the guys make it. So we can check that and we can rotate it. Let's say we want to set it on the last girder and we can check that. You know, somebody would say, why do we need this much detail? Well, it actually is super useful because it allowed us to check things that we wouldn't even think about. Like, are the cables going to collide with the girder? If this crane were to rotate, are we going to have a collision here? Most models and most drawings only show the boom and they only show the car body, but when people don't take this into account, that's where your problems start to come in. You know, nobody can actually predict what this will look like, but as we're moving down or up, oh, hey, if there's a piece sitting over here and we hit it, well, we didn't see that. We didn't have the model. So that is something that is super, super, super nice to have. And the fact that it doesn't just crash my computer or bog it when I make a move is really nice too.
Crane Planner lets you see your weight as well.
Are you gonna have enough capacity in that crane with the weights that we have rigging up to it? It allows us to play around with the rigging as well. It's a pretty cool thing here. So if I wanted to come in here and change it to a two-steering traverse, we can do that. It allows us to factor that in. If I want to change the center of gravity of this object, we're just using a box for keeping it simple, but we can even import an object from CAD, put that in place of the box.
So that's pretty neat.
To be a little bit more precise, you can go into your front or rear views. This allows you to get some better measurements if you're needing them. It gives us that dimension, and the best part about that is if we come in here into 3D and we are to move this, it updates that dimension, that reference dimension to that point. So let's say I want to get as close to this girder as possible. Well, I can continue to move that crane until that distance closes up to almost 0, and it will continue to follow it. Crane Planner actually will show you some collisions you make. So right now, the only collisions that are shown are with the topography, which is what we want. We want the crane on the ground. But let's say we bring this load a little bit too low. Well, if we hit that girder, immediately warns you, hey, this is not what you want to do. We've caught a lot of collisions with this model, whether it was the boom hitting the girders. So if we wanted to reach, let's say for example, this far girder, and we were to reach out, you actually will collide with that boom. So it is very interesting you see this kind of stuff in action. It's an awesome, awesome, awesome planning feature. Whenever you go and make your reports, so let's say we have this right now, we have this current soft ground pressure, right? You can throw in whatever you want in here. You want to put some machine information in here, we can slide that in here. You're going to be handling objects, 4 reeves. You have the working steps you can put in here. It gives you your different snapshots. Let's say you're working out with your crane and you're like, oh, I really like this. So you can actually create a snapshot of this current model, and then you can go and put it back in your report once it uploads. It does draft in your views, so you can have this little depiction here. Hey, this is what the crane's going to look like. This is where it's going to be. You can put your text in there, your project description, the location of it, the customer, and your machine. You could put whatever you want wherever on the sheet and run out to the field. Hey, what do you think of this? And then once somebody confirms it, okay, we'll go and do a deeper check, make sure that all this actually works, which 90% of the time it does, and just fully publish it. Makes it everything a lot easier. If you want to put a map, a Google map from above, you can do that. So let's say we go into a top view. We're somewhere in this area here in Alaska, in the middle of nowhere. You can insert the name of it, JCB. You can make it a hybrid or a satellite, whether you want to show the road names or if you want to just show the satellite, and you insert it into your model. And this is georeferenced, so it actually comes up pretty well with where your object is. Let's say it's here, this project's going through the middle of nowhere, which is where this map will align. So I made this 500 by 500, but you can make it bigger if you want to do the whole Earth, you know, go ahead. It's like Legos all over again, but for adults. We still do double check all of our work. We do our calculations, but Crane Planner gives us a really good rough estimate. And every single time we have calculated it, no matter where the boom position is, no matter what, the results are almost word for word identical. So it's very, very, very accurate. We've saved a lot of planning and a lot of headache, because if we stuck to our original plan where we just took the king post and we lowered it, all 5 of them, one of the arguments was, hey, we can get all 5 of them. Well, we did all 5 and it was flashing red at us. So by the time we did the calculations and we did the AutoCAD drawings, you know, that's 2 separate entities. You have to calculate it and you also have to visualize it. Here, we did it together, and I would say it saved us quite a bit of time. I would say almost weeks. It's allowed us to progress into conversations we didn't even expect to get into yet. We do have some guys at the headquarter office who are very interested in this now too. They have also requested licenses. Now that we have the tool, there's a lot of jobs where there's a lot of critical picks, and it helps with that a lot. So very useful, very cool. I just wish we had it sooner.